All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Bill's granted second reading. Senator from Colleton, you are now recognized on a point of personal interest. Please give the senator your attention. Senator from Colleton, Senator Bright Matthews.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, thank you, Mr. President, for permitting me to be heard. I'm before you today. A lot of you didn't realize it, but some of us took off last week to be with our children that had spring break. While I was on my spring break with my children, a lot of you have heard about the tragic incidences that occurred in Colleton County. I'm before you today to tell you a little bit about what has transpired, and I thank a lot of my fellow senators for calling and checking on me to see exactly what happened. There was a lot of speculation online. Let me tell you what I know from my conversations with all of the parties involved in the incident. It involved a 10-year-old girl in her 5th grade class where there was a substitute teacher. It involved what appeared to initially be a simple back and forth between two young girls. The substitute teacher, that was our first day in that class. There was 22 students in the class. It was right before lunch, and you can imagine how kids, normally good kids act, they usually act out when there's a substitute teacher. We've all been around or been 10 years old before. Well, apparently something went on between the two girls. The substitute teacher intervened and then sent one of the other students into the hallway. Luckily, the assistant principal was right down the hallway. He came in and escorted both girls to the principal's office. They were still going back and forth between them with their mouths, from what I have been able to discern. And the principal put the girls in his office, and one of them complained of her head hurting. She grabbed her head. From what the evidence shows, then she was taken right outside of the principal's office to the nurse's office, and which is steps away. Then she became nauseous, vomited, and by the time she was taken to the hospital, she was unresponsive, and then she was medevaced to MUSC. After staying in MUSC, the next day, I was in Indianapolis with my daughter at a tournament. The grandmama called me and told me, oh my God, she's not responsive. They can't get a lead in her. My grandbaby is gonna die. I was shocked because I'd heard a lot about what was going on from other folks. Lo and behold, by Wednesday morning when I was driving in, that's when I got the call that she had indeed passed. This is a tragic situation, not only for the family of the deceased, a 10-year-old child, but it's tragic for, imagine what the school is feeling, what the teacher who's out is feeling, what the principal's feeling, the assistant principal, the nurse, and more importantly, the other little girl on the other side. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they were kicking her, they ganged her. None of that. That's so far from the truth. Not even banging of the head, that was not even an issue. Imagine what the substitute teacher is feeling. Well, I've asked my community to withhold their opinions on all of this, and I asked this Senate to consider some things, and number one, give us your prayers. We need to look at some things regarding our education system. I talked with Molly Spearman in all of this, and I thank her for responding to us. We need to seriously look at these classroom sizes. All of us are parents or have had to supervise children. Can you imagine grouping children in a classroom? And these are a lot of the times at-risk schools. Grouping them 20, 22 students, and you got IEP students mixed with regular students. You don't know what sets folks off. In this particular case, it is understood that they involved IEP students as well as DSS had intervened previously. So you can imagine. But I wish we can I know we can't get back to the good old days where your teacher knew you and your teacher knew your parents. But you know what? I do know, in looking at this, I've been asked many times, are you going to introduce anti-bullying legislation? That's the stupidest thing in the world. Because you and I both know children are not born mean. They're not born bully. They're not born to hate other students.